So you're having money trouble, and it's becoming a bit of an emergency right now. Excuse me. It's late. I woke up. It's like 2:22 in the morning, and the feeling I got was like I saw like flickering behind my eyes, like emergency siren lights, And I can't remember what I was dreaming about, but I just had the sense that it was very much like just like straight up money. Um, and I also had this sense of community, though, like that you needed help. So let me see what I can do. Always feel free to fast forward, or you can also set the speed of my readings through your settings, because I know I'm slow. First card out is the Hermit. Introspection, contemplation, wisdom through seeking, independence, being alone, inner guidance, meditation. Okay. The next comes Seven of Pentacles in reverse and the Two of Swords in reverse. So the Seven of Pentacles is lack of long-term vision and limited success or rewards. And the Two of Swords is the lesser of two evils, no right choice, confusion, worry, indecision, overload, delays. Okay. So we're up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, sounds like. But with the Hermit upright, I get the sense that you're not panicking. Like you kind of are, but you're trying to be wise about it. You're trying to go about it a different way. But, I mean, you're worried. And you don't see, and there's no end in sight right now. Okay, let's see this. So immediately, though, this gives a sense of somebody who's unemployed, who doesn't have any work going on right now. Two of Wands in reverse. Self-doubt. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, playing it safe, lack of planning. I see that mostly as lack of planning is how I would interpret that. Because Two of Wands is planning, basically. It's like this guy with these two wands here, and he's looking off into the distance and see the water out there. Like, that's, but it's a two, so it's like the early stages of planning. But in reverse, it's like early stages of lack of planning, I guess you would say. That's why it feels like, it just feels like you're overwhelmed. Eight of Cups, disappointment, abandonment, walking away, leaving behind. Okay, gotcha. So part of what I feel here is that you left something. Like you left a situation, you left a relationship, you left a job, you left a house, something like that. Like you had to walk away from something. And you had to do it like, with the Hermit being our leading card, the Hermit is like a very introspective card. And so it feels like you did some soul searching and like you had to just like walk away from a situation because you're like, this is way the fuck out of alignment with who I am. I need to go, but I don't have a plan on how to like get myself out of this. So the situation is becoming clearer. 4 of Cups in reverse. The Lovers in reverse. Sudden awareness, choosing, acceptance, withdraw, checking in for realignment. Exactly. And then the Lovers in reverse, self-love, disharmony, misalignment. Love it when that happens. Sorry, it's just like, that happens to me all the time where it's like, I'm like, I think it's this, and then it's just like immediately confirmation. Got it, yes. You checked in with yourself, something's misaligned. And the Lovers in reverse, so like the Lovers doesn't necessarily mean lovers. It's a lot of just like teamwork, partnership, something like that. So like because I think the Lovers upright is like, yeah, like there's this thing about it where it's like, so you got this man and this woman, and then there's an angel over it, and the Devil card's like the same thing, but the only difference is they're chained to each other. So it's like a feeling of stuck. So the Lovers in reverse is disharmony, but like you're not stuck. You unstuck yourself. You walked away. You're out of the situation, which is, like that takes a lot of guts. Like if you were able to do that, congratulations. Like that's really not easy. That is a leap of faith into the unknown. And it's like, you're just freaking out a little bit, I get it. More than a little bit. It's all right though. We'll get you out of this. Ace of Cups. Yeah, see, new beginnings are on the way. The Fool in reverse. Okay. And then 9 of Cups in reverse as well. Okay, got it. Oh, there's a bunch of other cards under there. Okay. 9 of Cups in reverse. Strength in reverse. 7 of Wands in reverse. Okay. Oh, baby. All right, let's start with these first 2. Ace of Cups upright and the Fool in reverse. By the way, like all of those were in reverse. So that's like, okay. I'm here just in time. All right. So Ace of Cups upright is creativity, new feelings, spirituality, etc. Like it's also, the idea is in traditional tarot is that this is like a card of new love, but I see it differently. I always see this as like you cannot give to anyone else without giving to yourself first. So when I see 1 cup, I think of the first love that you should have in your life, which is you. Sounds selfish, but it's not. You have to take care of the gift that you were given. Self-love is a way for you to honor the life that you were given. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Like if you grew up in a decent family, then like your parents did. But like, we all know our parents are so flawed and they need to take care of themselves too. And a lot of their issues are because they didn't do this. And so you're doing it because you're different. You're breaking a cycle. So the cup is there for you to fill for yourself. And you only give to others what spills out. Does that make sense? You don't deplete your cup. You fill your cup with the things that you need. And you walked away from a situation that was depleting you. It was taking away from you. Lovers in reverse. It was not partnership in the way that it's supposed to happen. And so now you're focusing on you, and this card is upright, which means you are, and you're doing good. But we got that Fool in reverse, which is still kind of like this holding back, indecision, hesitation. Also a little bit of recklessness. It's in reverse, And like immediately it gives me the sense with the Ace of Cups upright that was right on top of it, it just gives me the sense that like you're worried that you are being reckless. You're worried about whether or not you were making a good decision. From the feel of the cards, I feel like you are. But yeah, because this is the next 4 cards came out in reverse. Oh no, wait, I pulled the wrong card. 3 cards. So 9 of Cups is lack of inner joy, dissatisfaction, materialism. Strength in reverse is self-doubt, weakness, struggle. And 7 of Wands in reverse is exhaustion, giving up, destroyed confidence, overwhelmed, worn down, self-doubt. Like I said, failure, lack of confidence. Yeah, this is like lack of confidence, lack of confidence, lack of confidence. Times 3. Times 3, baby. Oh, baby. That's so hard. Oh, you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta believe in yourself. You know, like, holy shit, what was that? It was either a bat or an owl that just flew by. It scared the crap out of me. Anyway, sign. I don't know how, but that's what everybody says. But your Ace of Cups is upright. You're in hermit mode. You're contemplating. You're going within. Like, think about all the signals and alarms that must have been going off in your mind to make you leave that situation. Think about how desperate you felt, you know? Even if there's parts of that decision that you need to reconcile later in a different way, the decision itself was a good one. You were misaligned. And you weren't going anywhere. You weren't going anywhere. And so, although you feel like you're being reckless, the feelings that you have right now of self-doubt is just residual from that situation. All those cards are in reverse, which means the potential for them to be upright is there. So, like, the potential for 7 of Wands to be upright. See this person who's in this higher ground, defensive, fighting off all this crazy ass shit that's going on around them, and doing it with strength, upright. Strength is the idea. This guy's holding this lion's mouth open. This is the idea of more than just like physical bruteness. This is inner strength. This is the quiet, confident strength of somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. And 9 of Cups upright, that's this guy who's lined up all these cups behind him. And he has fought his way from the Ace of Cups journey, from the very beginning, where he learns how to take care of himself. He learns all the things he needs. He learns the boundaries that he needs to set so that he can contain his cup, so that a bunch of liquid doesn't fall out, right? That's boundary setting right there. You got to contain your cup. This 9 of Cups guy, where is he? Right there. He's learned to do that 9 times over. He's extremely choosy about who gets to sip out of his cup by this point, right? Extremely choosy. Not just anybody gets to sip out of these. He has fought tooth and nail for every one of these relationships in his life to be balanced. Shuffling people from inner circle to outer circle to inner circle, cutting people off, talking to people in different ways, having those difficult, tough conversations that set some boundaries in there or set some expectations of how the relationship's going to go. These are difficult conversations. These are difficult experiences. And he's got them just the way he likes them, all lined up in a row behind. Not just anyone gets to drink out of these cups. That's what I mean when I'm talking about these cards are in reverse, because there's other cards that say this just straight out, right? But like in reverse, this is very much like you're feeling in reverse. The potential for you to be upright is there. Because standing your ground, having strength, and setting firm boundaries while taking care of yourself, those are all things you can do for free. You don't need money to do any of that. You just decide. You just put your foot down. Say, I don't know how, but I'm getting myself out of this. And you set some boundaries. Somebody, or lots of somebodies, are drinking out of your cup that shouldn't be drinking out of your cup. You've got drainage issues. You're on the Ace of Cups. You're at the beginning of this. That's why this feels so disarming right now and overwhelming, is because you're at the very beginning of this. But once again, that first card is the Hermit, upright. Okay? You're going within. You're thinking. You're touching, what's the word? Touching base with yourself is what I was trying to say. And so, that's great. That's where it starts. You got it. You're on the right track there. Ugh, sorry, I'm so tired. Middle of the night. Okay. But yeah, absolutely. So you're just in self-doubt right now, sweetie. That's the biggest. I mean, that was a chunk of cards that just came out there. Self-doubt is a huge one. And it starts with self-care. It starts with prioritizing yourself. And you're on the right track there. Leaving was the start of it. Whatever big walk away you just did, it was the right choice. Even if it winds up coming back together later or whatever. Okay, Queen of Swords in reverse, the Moon in reverse. Deceit, easily influenced, bitter, cold-hearted. And then the Moon in reverse, release of fear. Insecurities. Confusion. Okay. Yeah, you're confused as hell. Someone confused you. This feels very once again, swords is mind stuff, brain stuff, thoughts, communication, mental processes, that kind of thing. And this is a feminine energy in reverse. This is wounded feminine, manipulator, excuse me, someone who's very victim mentality, has a lot of martyr characteristics. I guess I'll just never speak again. His mom. I don't know. But yeah, it's somebody who has whether deliberately or through their own lack of um, self-awareness, they've harmed the shit out of your mental health. They're a huge fucking problem. That's a huge problem in a human right there. Self-awareness is, or lack of self-awareness is really fucking hard to deal with. It's fair to believe that some people hold themselves accountable to like their own bullshit. All right. We've talked a lot about the emotional stuff, but I would really like to talk a little bit more about money. Like, I want to give you more than just like emotional um, suggestions and advice. Page of Swords in reverse. Knight of Cups in reverse. Oh no, there's more people. Jealousy, unreliable, unpredictable, deception, manipulation, all talk. Oh, there's a bunch of people. Oh, baby. No wonder you feel so alone. Yeah. This feels very much like your infrastructure has fallen. Family, friends, all of that shit is in question right now. All of that shit. And it looks like rightfully so. It looks like legit, like this is toxic. It's some toxic ass energy. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Probably drink some water or something. Okay. Eight of Pentacles in reverse, Queen of Cups in reverse. Codependency, vanity, greed, uninspired. This kind of gives the feeling of like being on the outside looking in a little bit, like the jealousy kind of sticks out to me a little bit there, where it's almost like you're just trying to keep up appearances, like all your friends are in a certain tax bracket and like you're trying to like maintain that appearance that like you're not bothered, everything's fine. Like I'll be all right. But it feels so, yeah, like off the button, you're spending money you shouldn't be spending to keep up appearances. And that's just residual from that toxic environment. You're trying to convince those people that you're okay. Stop thinking about them. They're not part of your story right now. They're a distraction. You gotta focus on you and what you need. Your life needs to pivot, so let it pivot. The Empress upright. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, and action. Get yourself someone who inspires you in a healthy way. And this person can be you. It can just be your future you, right? Matthew McConaughey, when somebody asked him, like, who do you like compare yourself against or compete with or anything like that, he's like, I don't compete with anybody except myself. He says, I am always just, it's always the me now competing against myself in the future of what I think I could be. That's what this card gives me the sense of. The Empress upright. That's like the feeling of, yeah, I read all the things, but like, here, let me read this a little bit. You're entering a new life, maybe in the form of pregnancy, romance, business, or elsewhere. The Empress, positioned upright, may also be a signal that it is time to be kind to yourself and invest time in some self-care. Take comfort in knowing that the Empress has your back. See that Ace of Cups? You're doing what you should be doing. Excuse me. Look at this cute little cup. Anyway, but you're doing what you should be doing. This self-care, this like boundaries, putting yourself first, filling your own cup, going outside, getting fresh air, meditating, whatever it is. Artistic pursuits. You're filling your cup. You're learning how to fill your cup, and you're learning how to set the boundaries. In an ACE format that's early on, give yourself some grace. You're not going to get it perfect right away. That's okay. You came from a hella toxic environment, which means your examples are shit. It's just that's how it happens sometimes. Like, that's why people go to therapy, is they realize they don't have anyone in their life that can guide them correctly. Like, they learned the wrong skills. They learned the skills necessary to survive their families, but they didn't learn the skills to move on from there. And they want to move on from there. You want to move on from there. Therapy would be a great idea right now, but that costs money. So, we're going to work on the free stuff. But if your insurance covers it, like a lot of times your insurance will cover the first 5 sessions through your employee assistance plan. If you have a job, they'll usually do like basic health insurance. Basic health insurance in the United States, as a matter of fact. So if you've got health insurance here, just in general, it should cover, I think, 5 sessions typically of therapeutic sessions. There's usually like a website that you have to go to, and then you can find them there. The Magician, boom, upright, action, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower, skill, and creativity. Yeah, it's coming back. This reading's helping. I'm glad. But yeah, to that point, okay, a master's in psychology is somebody who has, so there's the 4 years of college that you get a psychology degree. And then you can go for another 2 years and get your master's. And there's lots of different types of masters in psychology. Like you can have masters in counseling, couples counseling, risk management, school counselor, sociology. What is the one I'm thinking of? Social worker, that kind of stuff. So you've got those people. And then you've got the people with the doctorates, and that's an additional 4 years of higher level education. And there's 2 types of doctorates. There's a PhD, and like the thing about the doctorates is they can prescribe medication if needed, if it's a PhD. Those are the ones you call those shrink. That's the folks. Sorry, I smoked, so my brain's losing it a little bit. Yes, psychiatrists. There we go. That's the word. Those are the psychiatrists, the ones with a PhD in psychology. The PsyD, P-S-Y-D, capital D, not PhD, PsyD. Those are the ones that have a doctorate. They a lot of times cannot write prescriptions for medication, but they can suggest them, and then you can ask your primary care doctor for those. But they're the ones that have been taught specifically about how to do therapy. Like the other ones, because they can write, the PhD people, because they can write prescriptions, that's predominantly all they do. They usually don't do a ton of talk therapy, maybe some. And, I'm generalizing a bit here, but by and large, the PhDs are just, it's just, like they get money for writing prescriptions, basically. And you go to them for writing prescriptions. I don't think that's what you need here. I think you need somebody to talk to. I would personally go with someone with this ID. That's 4 years of being supervised on how you be a therapist. So it's just a lot more experience and a lot more coaching and a lot more oversight on their techniques. And so usually you can feel the difference. And I apologize to therapists that are master's degrees out there. I'm sorry. Anyway, a lot of times the therapists with masters are really great for just talking, like it feels like a friend. And so you'll get kind of like high level friend advice on how to do things, on how to work through things. Just like, yeah, man, just like ba 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 ba. Like that. That's the feel of someone with a master's in psychology. PhD, a PsyD, excuse me, they're gonna be giving you techniques. They're going to break things down. They're going to be giving you articles to read. They're going to be giving you homework, and they're going to check up with you next time. There's going to be a higher level, all right. I remember it was just it's the difference between somebody being like, hey, what's going on? And then somebody being very pointed questions, very we're going to pull that out of you and we're going to examine that because it's holding you back. And also they just kind of cut to it. They're going to guide the conversation. They're going to move in towards things that you're saying. And they can read you a little better. Sometimes. It's hard. The screen counseling is really great. You can get some really amazing results there. I still prefer it in person. I don't have anybody I'm seeing, but it's still I've seen therapists, trust me. Star upright. Hope. Calm, healing faith. Renewal, good omen, rejuvenation. Good, I'm glad this is helping. Yeah. There's lots of great techniques out there. And you got to think about it this way. When it comes to things like therapy, they should be giving you tools in your tool belt that you can use to do your world. So when you are talking to a therapist, if you feel like they don't understand the world that you are in and trying to get to, because those are two different things right now, then move on to somebody else. That's why a lot of times it's very healthy to find somebody who is either the exact opposite of you, where you're trying to go, or somebody who is very similar to you, depending upon what your intuition is telling you and what your body tells you. A lot of times people of color should go see people of color, because it's a factor It is, and so it's like having somebody who has lived experience of that is going to give you more tools and perspectives on it. If all they do is help you be angry about it, then that's not helpful. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make everything useful to you. It should all elevate you, every bit of it. Everything that you think is a flaw is a strength if you see it the right way, and if you use it the right way, and if you dismantle the things about it that are toxic. Everything about you see as a flaw is a strength. But it starts with self-care. It starts with that Ace of Cups upright. Setting those boundaries. And part of setting those boundaries is not just so those people are depleting your cup. It's also so that you need some room to relearn some new habits. You need some room to be able to practice these skills, where the stakes aren't so high when you get it wrong. That's why I'm a huge proponent of chit chat. Trust me, I'm an introvert. Small talk is awful. I agree. However, it is a great opportunity to practice. For one, it's etiquette. You can't get around it. You got to be able to do it just a little bit, right? And I'm the same. I got 20 things I can say to a person before I run dry and I need to move on, unless they're interesting. I can be interesting for about 20 questions and then I'm out. That's my skit. Unless I feel like talking, and then I'll talk, but that's rare. But yeah, chit chat, your barista, your grocery clerk, the barber shop, or hair salon, my hairdresser. Oh my God. She and I talk about all sorts of crazy shit. So, but those are low stakes conversations. It's not like your mom or something like that, right? You don't see these people out and about all that much. So you can be a little awkward from time to time while you practice. And practice can mean just saying the life that you want. Be well, I'm between gigs right now, but what I'm hoping to do is this. I just walked away from a situation that just didn't feel right, and I'm still looking where to land right now. But my hope is this is what happens. But I know at least that wasn't for me. I don't quite know where I'm headed right now, but I know it's not where I was. And that's a good feeling. Acknowledge the win that is this moment in your life that feels scary as fuck, and it feels like you're in a free fall, but acknowledge the win that you stepped away from something that was really toxic to you. 10 of Wands, yeah, in reverse, excuse me. Doing it all alone, but it's releasing those wands. Like 10 of Wands upright. It's this guy who's got all those 10 wands, like the 10 wands that you're carrying there. And you're dropping those, but it's not easy. You've been carrying them for a long time. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Arguments, financial failure, financial loss. Yeah, it's cost you money, which means, as we talked about earlier, there's that keeping up appearances bit. Stop. You don't have to outright announce to people that you're being frugal, but you can still be frugal. Like, I'm somebody who has managed to get my family through multiple financial crises. Multiple. I know how to pull some levers to buy leverage to get me through, because I know the end is coming in whatever way it needs to come. I know that I can drop everything and put my family first if I need to. But what I'm most helpful at this point is the plotting. This is my biggest asset. And this works best when I take care of myself. This is also the biggest asset for my family. This is my leadership. I'm a matriarch. I've been a matriarch for years. And matriarch doesn't mean that you're a mom. A matriarch is the leader of the family. Of the family. Okay? So, that's a lot of responsibility. It's like the CEO of your legacy. And it requires a lot of mental effort. And so for me, it's been difficult balancing this journey of self-care, of spirituality, of all that stuff, while also trying to like hold the ship afloat. Because I've had to like make room for this transition without disrupting the family too much. So I understand what it's like to try and hold a financial level while you create this transition. But you need to allow for frugality to exist in there. You need to allow for those cost cuts. Like, you lose a job, you need to cancel the gym, you need to cancel like all but one of your cable subscribers. You need to bargain with your cell phone company and your internet company and see if you can get a temporary discount. You like medical bills, you can see if you can defer them or put them on a payment plan. Credit cards, you look to see if you can if you can qualify for a 0% balance transfer somewhere, then do that. 0%. What is that? Oh, there's a card in my hand. I wasn't even looking at it. Ace of Swords in reverse. Frustration. Cloud of Judgment. Ace of Swords upright is like that backbone. It was in reverse. This is the ultimate advice. Is right now you're growing a backbone, my friend. And do you think having a sword for a spine feels good to make? To make your spine, to plate it with iron and steel. That's hard work. And it hurts. But you need a backbone made of metal, my friend. You need to believe in yourself right now. You need to hold firm. Don't take the money from the sources that are toxic to you, that are trying to create a codependent cycle, that are trying to embed you and enmesh you in their drama and bullshit. You need to be separate from that. You can cut your expenses, find a 0% balance transfer offer, and do some side hustles, man. Who the fuck cares? Like, there's something that you're good at. There's some sort of creative endeavor. Give people the opportunity to pay you for it. Even if it's not your main gig. Just see if they can. You never know. It might not be anything, but maybe they'll inspire you in a certain direction to offer something in a, kind of community building, but also like money building way. You never know. My storage is running out and I've been talking for 45 minutes. So I hope this helped. I believe in you. You made the right choice. You really, really did. You just gotta believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Build that backbone, set those boundaries, and move forward with your new life in a new way. You got this.